Hi, good evening, good evening, good evening Tobago, and good evening Trinidad and Tobago, and all those viewers on Facebook. My name is Marlon David, and I'd like to welcome you this evening to today's installment of the Minority Report. We have an exciting show lined up for us this evening. However, before we actually get into that, I want to just do the needfuls. You're viewing this program on Tobago Updates Facebook page. It's also available at the Tobago Updates website and the Tobago Updates YouTube channel. We want you to continue to send your comments and your questions, and so we have facilitated that by having our WhatsApp number, and that number is 284-6597, 284-6597. We want you to share your comments, your views, your concerns even with us this evening as we go along with this program to be able to create public awareness and a greater understanding of the workings of many things within the Tobago landscape. And this evening I want to say welcome to our first-time viewers. There's some of you who are logging on for the first time, joining us now on the Minority Report. We welcome you, and we hope that you will continue to be part of this growing family as we continue to forge forward to lift Tobago to a new level with understanding and awareness. This evening we want to get right into our What's Good segment, and we would have begun this segment a couple shows back, so that we can identify with those things that are happening in and around the island and in this space that we can definitely get some motivation for. And in our What's Good moment this evening, we want to send congratulations out and recognize the efforts of our sportsmen yet again. Back in the news, we see Jereem Richards giving us a sterling performance in the 200-meter cupping gold, and really bringing home that race. Many of us would have looked at it with bated breath. However, when we saw the scorching run, he even set a Commonwealth Games record and indeed a personal best. Jereem Richards winning the 200-meter gold at the Commonwealth Games. And extending from his performance, we see him again anchoring the 4x4 relay team. And I mean, we continue to produce world-class athletes coming out of Trinidad and Tobago, and we see it represented here on the global stage yet again. Another 4x4 relay team cupping gold. And then again we saw the 4x1, the 4x100 relay team cupping silver. And it's notable that we have Dwight St-Hilaire, who would have ran in the 4x4 100-meter team as well. And Dwight St-Hilaire hailing out of the Windward community of Belgarden. And he continues to make Tobago proud on the global stage, really setting trends and creating opportunities for our local athletes here. A lot to aspire towards when you look at these guys, and especially coming out of Belgarden there. Countryside, as it were, and I know that country produces a lot of very good sportsmen because there's a natural strength and endurance that comes from country life and country living. We see this even evidenced in Keyshawn Walcott, who hails from the northern community of Toko, who has just ascended on the world stage, or just burst onto the world stage with the javelin, and we saw him setting a number of records and medals and so on, and still today continuing. So we want to encourage our young sportsmen and athletes to always look at the positive influences that we see coming out of the island and really aspire towards achievements such as those, you know. And so we want to say congratulations to those our athletes. and we're going to just cup that off in our What's Good moment and What's Good segment. We're introducing a new segment called our Headline Corner for those who would have missed a number of the headlines that may have been playing out in the news over the weekend, especially coming into the new week. And so we just want to touch quite a lot taking place in Tobago, and we see the Roxborough Health Facility closed. We are still awaiting some additional information, but we know that the Roxborough Health Facility was closed temporarily, and we look forward to hear from the division what is taking place there. We saw police apprehending, the police doing quite a good job in this instance, and I want to say congratulations to the police service on the island apprehending 2 suspects in a string, or who can be linked to a string of robberies on the island, and I trust that persons who may have been affected would now see some sort of relief, either to have your items returned and just the vindication of having the persons apprehended. We see in the news as well a 25,000 THA budget edit. Dr. Winford James, once again in the news, having been spoken to by the media, has indicated that he will neither confirm nor deny the existence of this particular payment and the fact that it was made to him. Also in the news, and this is, I mean, breaking news and a hot topic, the Works and Transport Minister, the Honorable Rohan Sinanan, says that he's in the dark about the regional ferry service. As you know, we would have heard quite a lot being articulated in the Tobago space recently with respect to a ferry service between Tobago and Grenada. And we see the person responsible for Works and Transport for over our Twin Island state now saying that he is in the dark, and would have indicated that he would have had no conversation. So we look on and again expecting that this particular story would continue to unfold as more information is made available. And also we see Pan Trinbago President Beverly Ramsey Moore Knox THA Carnival trip in Grenada, and we see this coming out over the last couple days, and Ms. Ramsey Moore, not usually a person that breaks her silence in this manner, but I think the proverbial feather that breaks the camel back, or the straw that breaks the camel back, as some say, is this scenario that we're seeing here. And she would have come out in a public article, post on Facebook, and spoken out against the carnival trip made by some THA officials and an entourage to Grenada. And so that rounds up our headline corner. As we prepare to go to a break, I want to encourage you to visit our Tobago Updates Facebook page, where we are live here in studio with the Minority Report. Share the link, share the live, stay logged on, stay locked on, and we'll be right back as we continue our discussions. Very interesting discussion we have this evening. So let's get a few persons on board so we can all benefit. We'll be right back.
My sweet island Tobago, I love you.
Trinbago Diaspora Outreach Network invites you to Homecoming 2022 from August 20th to the 30th. Come, reconnect, rediscover, and rejuvenate in diverse and engaging activities, including stimulating panel discussions, nationwide island tours, the Diaspora Family and Fun Day, our authentic cultural showcase, and join in the myriad celebrations organized for national independence. Trinbagonians residing abroad, come home for Teedan celebrations of the nation's 60th anniversary of independence. Register at www.trinbagodiaspora.org or WhatsApp us 1-868-682-1432 or email homecoming.secretariat@gmail.com. Seize this opportunity to immerse yourself in Trinidad and Tobago.
Remember where you come from, Tobago. Beautiful countryside, Tobago.
best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorns Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorns Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Welcome back to the Minority Report, and we are in studio at Tobago Updates this evening. And with us and joining us this evening on air, live in studio, is Mrs. Marcelin Edwards Ned of Marcelin Ned and Associates. I have it correct?
Yes, you have.
Nice. And joining us this evening for a discussion. And we're going to be having a bit of diving into and delving into the whole aspect of Tobago Carnival and what can we expect, what can we look forward to. And we're going to hear a bit of conversation from some of our stakeholders and what would have emerged coming out of some meeting forums. So, Mrs. Ned, welcome to the Minority Report this evening. It's a pleasure having you with us.
Thank you for having me.
Nice, nice, nice. So I want us to get right into it. Many of our viewers may not be aware of who Marcelin Ned is. They probably would have heard the name.
Yes.
Marcelin Ned and Associates, but they don't know who the person is. So I want you to tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us about the genesis of you in the carnival and in the mass and so on, what you represent, and bring us up to date so that we can create an awareness in our viewers.
Okay, good night to everyone. It's a pleasure being here. My name is Marcelin Edwards Ned. I'm originally from Pigott Street, Scarborough, Tobago. I'm born in Tomas. I come out from the family of the Nancy's. Next generation, next, Miss Wilma Bedlow, which is both are deceased. So I'm into carnival, as I said, all my life. And to see where carnival has been from then to now is very heartwarming. Right? I love the art, I love the culture because it is in me. It is embedded in the family, as people say, the Bedlows. Right? Some people figure I'm a Bedlow, but I'm not. I'm just a Edwards. Right? So, growing up as a child, being in mass, learning how to make costume, doing beads and necklaces, headpieces and things. So when the carnival was dying in Tobago in 2002, you only had 3 bands was crossing the stage. It just dawned on me, here, why don't bring a mass? So in 2003, Tobago Fest is where I branch out. I did Hawaiian for the first time, did well, placed 3rd in the Tobago Fest competition, and then I decided to go to Carnival, and from there I am still going strong. So it's 19 going on 20 years.
Wow.
I am being in Carnival. Had my ups and downs. I started out in small, and then I emerged into medium, placed first in medium, then I went to large. I placed 4th, about 4 to 5 years straight in large band. Then I bought out a senior band. I was encouraged by the parents because they see that the children and them having such fun, and they decided, why don't bring a senior band? So I branched out into the senior band, did pretty well, came 2nd 4 years straight in small band, placed 4th in medium band for a couple of years, and then in 2020 me and my cousin Diane McCremon merged together in large band. We was the Indian mass that came into Scarborough. Had little controversial, went on there, but you know, we're not letting it stop us. So we are back at it for this October carnival that is being showcased in Tobago, right? And as I said, I've been in carnival for a very long time, worked in NCBA for a couple of years, so I know what it takes to produce a mass band. I know what it takes to run an organization, to making the mass a better and brighter product for Tobago, especially because you know people always say we want the mass to be like Trinidad, right? But some typical Tobagonians love it and some don't. Some, when you put a price to your costume, some would pay and some won't pay. But mind you, some of them leave Tobago here, go Trinidad and pay the thousands of dollars for the same costume that you have here, because you have some band leaders are affiliated with bands in Trinidad. So you know they will buy a little 2-section from a man like Trini Revelers. You had a band was affiliated with them, would also take 2 sections from them, you know. There's nothing wrong with that, but like a band leader like myself, I will sit and do up my thing, sketch, do a little sketch, play with fabric, do my prototype. You know, I have my mom, my sister, my 2 daughters, and them are involved.
It's a real family business.
Yes, so it's a family business.
It's a legacy of mass.
Yes, I will run to my cousin, my crema, and I will say, girl, what you think how this look? She will do the same thing. So, you know, we have our One Love Netted family, and the chairman of Tobago Band Leaders Association. Well, before was the late Wilma Bedlow, and she had a vision of how she would have liked to see Tobago Carnival, and she involved us at a young age, you know, 16 years old, and in a band, in a band association, and that is where Tobago Fest come and grafted in, right at PSA, uptown, Pigott Street there, right at PSA. We used to have our little meetings and thing with Mr. Staniford, Mr. Peter Archer. Those were the little foundation members, along with myself, Gemma Bedlow, Virgil Dillion, Michelle Bedlow, myself. You understand? And from there, you know, my aunt always say she have a vision to how Tobago Carnival should be. It shouldn't be that Tobago people gravitating to Trinidad. At least we could capture these people to stay here. And mind you, Wilma Bedlow Band was the first band that ever bought bathsuit mask in Tobago. Right? And that was about 1984, 85, somewhere around there. She was the first band to bring bathsuits in Tobago. I could remember that because, and I could remember the section that type in my bathsuit was yellow and purple with a nice little straw hat on my head and thing. So I could remember it. So I'm into the carnival not only for the love of it, for the passion of growing it. And Tobago, you know, we love the culture. You know, because when you watch Heritage and thing, you could see that we love the thing. Whilst, again, I say, some of us are more church-oriented. But, you know, to keep this flame of carnival alive, as I said, we almost lost carnival in Tobago. As I said, we was having about 3 bands crossing the stage by the time 2 o'clock mass done. I could give you a kind of history of my band. I was the last band to cross the stage in Scarborough. So you could picture mass done at 2 o'clock and my band coming down the road at 5 o'clock. People were shocked. Wait, it's still half mass on the road? You know? So that is just my aim, and I would love to see younger band leaders coming out. Emerge. I have 2 members coming out from my band are band leaders, and I encourage it. I encourage young people. I will say, why you bring a band? Bringing a band easy. Start with something simple. I'll sit down. They go say, well, I don't have an idea. I go say, all right, I love Africans. So I go say, bring a little African. Start with that. And you know, when you merge from that, you can always ask me any question. I go help you along the way and groom you into it. And that is where 2 of my mass players members branch off on their own.
So you've created quite a bit of perspective here in terms of the history, not just of your involvement, but you've actually expanded it, so it gives us quite an understanding as to where the mass came from in Tobago. We saw you participate in a meeting today of a number of stakeholders, not just the mass, the Calypso,
Pan.
The Pan was also represented by way of voices, I should say, and a couple other stakeholders. Tell us what has been the development now, because this is the interest point. I think is one of the hottest conversations right now. Tell us what has been the development in terms of when you all were engaged, how you all were engaged, what was said, what was expected, and what we saw coming out of it.
Well, since the lockdown since COVID came in and we were on the lockdown, and last year we were told through the grapevine that they wanted to have a Tobago carnival. Some band leaders were selected.
Last year?
Last year.
So this wasn't a now concept?
No, it wasn't a now concept. But the only thing, Pan alone came off, and then they say, well, here what? Let me try to have a Tobago thing. From since last year. So you know it was in the making from then.
Yeah.
We had few little meetings, knowing that we could not have meet. We had a few little Zoom meetings and so forth. And then the election stepped in, and then it was brought to our attention that they still want to keep this Tobago carnival in October. It would not be together with Trinidad own. Let us have it separately. And we agreed with it. Instead of, because you knowing that the Prime Minister now open back the economy, to have people shuffling backward and forward, it didn't make no sense. Why Tobagonians could have gone down and participated in what Trinidad had to offer. So likewise now in October, you would have had Trinidadians coming to participate in Tobago. So it was a good idea. In April, we had our first meeting, which was held at the Buku facility. We had representatives from the organization. We are also affiliated with 2 organizations in Trinidad. Right? So one of the organizations came up and lent their support. And we had that meeting, as I said, at the Buku facilities.
So this meeting was all stakeholders, not just mass?
Was just mass alone at that point of time, with the Secretary for Culture, the Assistant Secretary, Mr. McKenna was present at that meeting. You had Mr. Mike Antoine, which we all call Mr. Big Mike. We had Mr. Satmaraj, we had Mr. Pushet, and there was a other gentleman, I quite can't remember his name, but he was more the technical guy who would have been setting up the website. So in that meeting that we had down at the Buku facility, we were asked how much band leaders will be partaking in the October carnival, and Miss Gemma Bedlow said as far as she knows is 22 band leaders are interested in taking part in October carnival. So right there and then you had already known how much band leaders would have been taking part
Participating
in this October Carnival. And in that meeting, everything was said that bands from Trinidad will come and link with a Tobago band. They cannot come on their own. Right?
Oh, okay, so a criteria was set.
A criteria was, you could say the whole Tobago Carnival would have set right there and then.
In that particular
In
meeting.
that particular
And this
meeting.
was in April.
That was in April.
Okay.
A workshop was supposed to be done by Mike Antoine and other band leaders from Trinidad to come and help Tobago band leaders to set this for the October Carnival. And what should have happened in that workshop, that whatever the band leader was going to bring. All right, for instance, I'm doing Indians, I'm doing Native Indian. So there would have been somebody to help me now create my costume.
The
King or
concepts and
queen,
everything.
a backliner, a frontliner. So somebody was doing Africans, because my presentation is we going tribal. I did it before and I decided here what I'm going to do it again, but in a different format. So a band from Trinidad who was either bringing Indians or Africans could have linked with my band. Right, so
the purpose of the workshop, and I want to just get some clarity on it, and even for our viewers, a workshop would have been set
Yes.
where we have the quote-unquote specialists
Yep.
from who would have been involved in the carnival and the mass for years in Trinidad, who we say normally have the blueprint, because it's no secret that countries around the world, they always come to Trinidad mass band leaders
they do.
to help plan their carnivals. So we were having this workshop. It was set for specialists, mass band leaders and so on, to come to train and to help develop our Tobago mass bands.
Yes,
Correct?
that's
okay,
correct.
good. Tell us what occurred.
right, we had different workshops. You would have makeup, because you know there are special types of makeup, so they would have been showing your face makeup, body makeup, everything.
Yeah.
And then we would have had the mask making aspect of it, wire bending.
Okay,
Because Tobago,
very critical to
Tobago
mass.
is lacking of wire benders. I can tell you that. I do my wire bending, but you know, again, little down in age, it will affect you. So I can pass it on to somebody who can assist me in doing my prototypes, right? So this person here would have been invited to this same workshop to learn how
So it
to
was basically training and development.
train, right? And in mass producing now, I would have also had somebody again to do mass designing, learn how to do mass designing.
Design costumes.
So when I'm ready to leave, I could say, well, all right, Mass Lynette and Associate could live on. It's just like Gloria Stout's next generation.
Yeah.
Next, she's not here, and her children is carrying on her legacy. So it's just like that.
So the workshop was essentially for all band leaders. All 22 bands.
And even who was not partaking
Yeah.
in October, so that it would have helped train them also for Carnival next year, February. So you would have
Very
gotten
good
more
initiative.
than 22
Yeah.
band leaders that are taking part in this workshop. This workshop was supposed to be April month end, and it would have been wrapped up in July, so that from that workshop you would have gotten the launch of the Tobago Carnival. That is what was supposed to happen with this workshop, and lo and behold, we are still waiting on the workshop. No workshop hasn't taken place. Our band leaders have been calling even me, Mrs. Ned, what happened? Are we still having the workshop? And all I could tell them, I cannot give you an answer. All I have been told from the chairwoman that the budget was approved and we are waiting.
I was just going to ask that
funding.
if it was approved.
Yes, we were told that the budget was approved. One thing I can say about Miss Bedlow, she don't sit on her tail all the time. She will bug you, and she had meetings with the chief secretary, and she was told, yes, the budget allocation has been approved.
Okay.
So he don't know why that this workshop has not gotten off its footing. So
Wow.
we are here today, and we had few couple of meetings. We have two representatives. One of Miss Gemma, she is on the mass committee. And then we have one of Mr. George. He is also on the committee for the October Carnival. Right, so we sat in this meeting and we did our budget. We did what we would like to see happen from Carnival Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which we had came up with on the Friday night. We would have kings, queens, and individual. Go straight into Juve the Saturday morning. And then the Sunday night, we would have had night mass. And then Sunday now, you have the parade of the
bands
on the street. A location was set from the stadium into Scarborough. The Juve would have been taken place into Scarborough and not at Crown Point. I know fully well that some band leaders from Roxborough was making noise and say, what happened to Roxborough? But then we saying, for you to venture out to say you're going to Roxborough, let us leave that for Carnival and let us focus in Scarborough itself, because you know Juve and night mass and thing in Scarborough has dwindled through the years. So this will give it an opportunity to boost back the Carnival into Scarborough. And we have not heard anything. I have been calling the chairwoman, Miss Bedlow, what taking place. When we will be having another meeting? When would we know what taking place? We have people calling us to find out is there itinerary of what will be taking place. And she of herself say, I cannot give you a definitive answer because she is not on that board that is showcasing the October. So when we call Mr. George, he and all cannot give us any.
Nobody has answers.
Nobody has answers. All he could have told us, well, here what? Try to be a prepared body. So when everything roll out, at least you're in front in the game. But that of itself is another thing. Remember, we was on a lockdown for 2 years. Nothing wasn't taking place. Band leaders haven't gotten nothing, either from the past regime to this regime here, to say, well, okay, you all was on a lockdown, you know, Carnival, come in, let me give all you some assistance. So,
and that's an interesting point you raise, yes. But we're going to take a quick break as we continue the discussion with Mrs. Ned in studio with us this evening. We're going to come back, and when we get back, we're going to be discussing the whole idea of grant, and I know that was a part of the discussion. So we're going to look at that grant issue, and then we're going to discuss very briefly as well the competition issue that we see, that element has been removed. So folks, stay tuned, continue to share the live, and we're going to be right back as we continue discussions this evening.
Street 919 FM and the Tobago Updates presents the Tobago Updates Morning Show live simulcast on the Street 919 FM. Start your day with all the information you want and need with the simulcast of the Tobago Updates Morning Show live Mondays to Fridays from 7 a.m. on the Street 919 FM, the official station that defends the nation.
And we're back this evening and on Tobago Updates at the Minority Report. And I got caught there looking at the screen in front of me where we see downtown Scarborough along Milford Road. I mean, Tobago Updates really cutting edge with the technology. We see it's taking media to a definitely new level. So congratulations once again to the Tobago Updates team. We see downtown Scarborough buzzing with activity. So we're in studio again this evening and chatting with me. I mean, really enjoying this discussion. We have Mrs. Marcelin Edwards Ned of Marcelin Ned and Associates, a prominent band leader in Tobago, prominent carnival band, a lot of history, institutional knowledge about the mass in Tobago. And just to quickly answer one of the questions, a number of persons on the live have been asking, yes, this is Miss Tobago, correct?
Yes, I am.
Yes, she's affectionately known as Miss Tobago, coming out of her numerous advocating and all of that for different things, especially around the carnival in Tobago. So yes, to our viewers, those who would have been asking, this is Miss Tobago in the flesh. So we're here chatting with Mr. Tobago, aka Marcelin Ned and Associates, and I want us to discuss a bit about the grants. You would have indicated that the administration would not have allocated or agreed to forward or advance grants to the mass bands. Was this something that was made as a request in a proposal or something like that? How did this come about?
Well, in the first meeting that we had, all this discussion had taken place, where grant prizes, it was even when with the website, because there was supposed to be a website for each band leader, information was given out and a proposal was made by the Mr. Sat, right, about each band leader getting a laptop. And it was said that we could pay half the price, so it wasn't given for free.
Yeah.
So we would have paid half the price, and the website now, we would have gotten it free of charge for this year. So next year now, you know, you have
when
to
things pick up. Yeah.
You have to find that mucho dinero to pay for this website to continue going. And as I said, up to this day,
so
nada.
how much, if you had liberty to say, well, how much was the figure that was proposed for the grant?
There was not a figure. I cannot recall if there was a figure, but the stakeholders was to be met again with the Secretary for Culture, and they would have put that proposal together. But when we had our meeting, our band leaders meeting, we was saying that here, because of time, we was in June, because of time, the money that they was going to give to the workshop, we could have utilized that money. That didn't come off. We could have utilized that money and give an assistance to the band leaders that would help to bring forth.
And how much was the approved sum for that workshop?
I think 160 something thousand, somewhere so.
Okay.
Right? So if you had 22 band leaders, we were saying if not 50,000, at least 30,000, that would have helped. Because remember, to bring a mass, to bring a band here that will give Trinidadians and people abroad that experience, you have to spend money. You have to
come out good.
You have to look for truck and trailer. You have to look for the maxi to have the cool down. You have to have bar. And it's not no small thing to have a bar. You have to make sure you have to feed them also. So it's an all-inclusive experience. You have to look for security, because you don't want people in and out of your band, because you have to see, because you're having all types of people. Who knows? You might have had a movie star inside one of our bands.
Correct.
You understand? And it takes money to rent a music truck. It's thousands of dollars because my music truck, he have to rent a truck. He have to rent the generator.
Correct.
He have to pay the insurance, the special insurance for the truck to be on the road. He has to even pay the DJ, get the sound system if he didn't have one of his own. Paid all the workers because he will have to have more than one DJ.
For the day.
For the day.
Correct.
The truck man have to be paid also. You understand? So when them would make some money, you have band leaders also would make your money. You can't tell a band leader sell your costume to producer man, a band.
Wow.
That is a mad scene.
So we are at the point where the grant was turned down.
No grant.
No grant.
No competition.
That is where I want us to go now.
No competition.
Because you made a point there about they saying to sell your costume and make back the money, which we know is impossible.
It's impossible.
One of the elements of carnival and carnival as we know it, and I'm speaking about this from a real cultural sense. Carnival as we know it is about competing.
Of course.
And the competition is what brings out the best in whether it is the mass bands, whether it is the calypsonians, whether it is the pan and so on. And having observed mass and carnival for a number of years in Trinidad and Tobago, we've seen some keen competitions come out of it where we see excellence that can be packaged and exported globally in terms of our carnival product. What you're saying to me this evening and to our viewing audience is that the element of competition and winning a prize and competing for prize money has now been removed?
I don't think it was even start because in our meeting that we had, we came up with a concept, nothing too much to say, all right, we come out of a pandemic, we don't really have much money. But all bands that compete in, even if the prices was from 1 to 4, you got an appearance fee. So you still go home
with something. Right.
And that something could help you for carnival next year. Because what you bring this year, you ain't going to be bringing it next year.
Yeah, true.
You're bringing something fresh on the plate.
Yeah.
Right? And lo and behold, we were told no competition, no prizes, and that
no appearance fee either?
Nothing. And that is what the Trinidad counterpart turn and say, so what am I coming to Tobago for? Because remember, they would put out their money to me, the band leader, also. Because they would have paid me either 2 ways. Either to use my name, if I myself is not bringing any mass. To collaborate with me, you will have to pay a registration fee, where I myself would have made money from that registration fee. I myself, if I wasn't doing 2 sections, whatever costumes that the Trinidad band have, I would have been selling to my mass players to make it more competitive here. And
so it was a collaborative approach. So the ones, those band leaders who have mastered the thing in Trinidad Carnival would pair with the Tobago bands. And though the Tobago bands would be the face of the carnival, they would lend the support in terms of logistics and experience. And okay, I understand now the whole. And
there were contract, because they're not just coming just so. Contracts would have been drawn out because lawyer had to get into
involved,
this. We had she name's gonna come to me just now. But we had a lawyer in our organization. She would have been starting up to draft
the contracts.
We would have gone through it. So if it would have been a 2-3 year contract with this specific band, so if I going with Tribe linking with me and Tribe would have signed this contract for 3 years. So,
engagement.
I would have been making money.
That is a tremendous
something from Tribe. And it's not to say that I don't know Tribe, because the organization I said that we are affiliated with, they had workshops in Trinidad where I myself participated, got my certificate, even in import and exporting of costume. There was a hub also made that you can sell your costumes. They were even, we didn't get that from Tobago, no, it's Trinidad set that up. Trinidad with other stakeholders. I have my certificates to show. I didn't go to UWI for it. They provided with that, and they even had a workshop where we met with other prominent people from out on the outside wanting us to make costumes for them. I still have contacts with these people and them out there. We had like Poland, and we had there was a country, I still have the man, they do yes, Poland. Right?
A number of opportunities
opportunities was opening up to us. So when I went at that year now was 3 band leaders. Another set would have branched off and gone and do the same thing. We even had a workshop here in Tobago with the people's, under the People's Partnership with the Minister for Culture, where the same Mike Antoine showed us how to make costume. It was in the papers, it is in magazines.
So our local band leaders like yourself were being prepared and prepped even for this time, and this arrangement that I'm hearing you speaking of at the beginning of the year or in April would have literally set you all on a proper platform.
Exactly.
To really maximize this Tobago Carnival. So now with the element of the competition out of the way, and so there's no prize money.
No prize money.
There's no grant.
No grant.
There's no appearance fee.
No nothing.
What is it that the secretary or assistant secretary or the whoever would have indicated would be some sort of compensation for the financial output?
Honestly speaking, we have not heard a word. Not a word to us, the stakeholder, which was
Mrs. Ned, this is the 9th of August.
And Pan.
The 9th of August.
The 9th
for
of
a carnival
August.
in October.
For a carnival in October. And mind you, we have sleepless nights. We have sleepless nights in trying to get ourselves organized for October, because it have band leaders who are doing everything. You have band leaders who are doing Juve. You have band leaders who are doing night mass also, plus the pretty carnival.
So let me ask this, and I would be, it wouldn't be me to not ask this, because we are discussing a number of issues here, and based on what you are saying, we've seen everything pulled away from our local stakeholders. You all have no information. Nothing is out there, even for the general public. We of ourselves, we thought it was just us and that the stakeholders knew what was taking place. But after today, we realize, and then tonight even more, that no one knows what's taking place. But I am still at the place of trying to understand that to bring a mass band, and I know one of the band leaders who was present at the meeting today indicated that his cost, his overall cost, would be somewhere close to $1 million.
Exactly so.
And there's no prize money to win.
No prize money.
No grant from
No
the
grant.
THA.
No.
And there's an issue of sponsorship, because that's the final go-to I want to try to get at. So okay, let's say everything else fails. We must have sponsors willing to spend the money and assist in offsetting some of these costs.
Well, I have my team, my little daughter set up her team, and we had a letter draft out, which is not easy. You have to pay once you want something done properly,
Yes.
to present to a sponsor. Right? And there's another band leader, colleague of mine. She's saying sponsors are asking yes, for a stamp. A simple stamp. They're even asking what is the itinerary, what is taking place. Because for you to take, if you see the quality of mass that I have been seeing coming out of Tobago, it wows me. It wows me. You have young people
Involved.
saying, let me do something.
Yeah.
Let me put pen to paper. And you're telling me that they're not getting no assistance. How are they now to mass produce, to get feathers? According to bring in feathers, you have to have somebody who have a license to bring in feathers, to bring in beads and braids, to bring in rhinestones, because you want people not coming here to play heritage, you know, Dame Lorraine and Baby Doll and Modern. They're not coming for that. They want the carnival experience. So you have to give their all. I'm learning, well, she taught me before how to make wire bras, because these are things that people want. The nice wire bras, the tongues. Imagine we don't have nobody here in Tobago really sewing bath suits at a wide capacity. We have to head to Trinidad. We have to say thanks to Hot Stuff, right? Miss C. Paul, we have to say thanks to her that she does bail out Tobago band leaders. If wasn't for her, I don't think we might have to put grass.
So, so and again, still on the issue of sponsors, I heard one of the band leaders indicate today that a number of sponsors are cancelling their interest because they as well
wants to know what
information.
Exactly. And remember, these sponsors too, they getting their business promoted.
Yes.
Right? So say for instance, Viewport give me a sponsor. Remember, I will be highlighting and showcasing Viewport, right, with my mass. And now Viewport now would have gotten their staff and them also to come and play with my band, and the staff now would have tell our family. So that is how the band would grow.
Networking.
So
when you can give them information as to this is the itinerary.
This is the itinerary. This is what
even more so, to say to our sponsor that we not competing for anything and we not winning anything in return.
What are you offering? Some sponsors, even though things tight, material of itself to bring a mass has skyrocketed. There is no, and I have been saying it for years, there is no such thing as a junior braids and a senior braids. Junior feathers, senior feathers. When
Same
you're
feathers.
going to Samaru, Jimmy Abood, any Hot Stuff, you are paying one price.
So whether it's Kiddies Carnival,
whether it's Kiddies Carnival, whether it's Night Mass, Juve, because when you're going to buy these same jerseys and bath suits where you see these lovely ladies were portraying for Plymouth Heritage, Plymouth Juve, right? It is money.
So as I mentioned that, and I know you touched on this sometime earlier, but we didn't go deep into it. Kiddies Carnival.
That's the next thing.
Tell us what is happening, because I know the Kiddies Carnival has been a feature. As a matter of fact, from observation, Kiddies Carnival is more supported, and there's a larger crowd than any of the other carnival activities, because you have the children and the parents and the relatives and so on that come out in support, and I've seen it generate a lot of economic activity for a number of stakeholders in terms of vendors and so on. What is happening with the Kiddies Carnival?
Well, when it was mentioned in the first meeting that we were having that no children would be partaking in the October Carnival.
Wait, just now. No so there's no kiddies carnival.
No kiddies carnival for this October. I was baffled. There were band leaders there who only bring kiddies
Bands.
and they were like, why not? You could give the kiddies and them a day for themselves, right?
Well, hasn't it been traditionally like that? That kiddies carnival
You
would
used
come
to
out
have on Tobago, when there was
Yes.
a Tobago Fest, you had kiddies partake in it also, right? Because kiddies carnival, you have about 42
bands.
kiddies band.
Wow, that is
42.
almost twice time the amount of senior bands.
And a senior band was about like 22 or so bands. They were never, there were always more juniors than seniors.
But what, Mrs. Ned, what was the reason or the rationale given?
The rationale
remove
given,
kiddies carnival.
COVID. That was the rationale. COVID. Right?
Mrs. Ned, I think you start telling jokes.
Well, I'm a
evening,
jokey
innit?
person, you know. I'm a comedian.
We telling you, it's best we change the program to
No,
a comedy
yeah.
hour. COVID.
And remember,
The same children that are out of school.
that out of school, the same children are telling mommy and daddy, I have 2 grandsons, and they say, Grandma, wash your hands. They are more
yeah, they're more up to date with
they're more
COVID
up to date with
protocols.
COVID protocol than we.
But every activity involving children, sports, girls, guides, scouts, all these things have been functioning for a number of
So
months.
what about the family who's saying, all right, we're going to come to Tobago for the carnival, so bringing the whole family
to participate.
so my children and them go get a jump in a costume. Because remember,
Wow.
you're telling me no children cannot partake in
The
the
Tobago
senior.
Carnival.
No children. So the
Miss-
age group is 18 years and over.
Mrs. Ned, I mean, this discussion, we could go on all night with it because the wealth of information that you have brought to this forum this evening is I mean, amazing. I want to ask just this final question before we close off this evening with the show. A number of things that you have outlined, we've cited a number of inefficiencies. We've seen promises made in one meeting that never materialized. We've heard you say that the Chief Secretary say that the fund was approved for the workshop. He doesn't know why it is. The workshop didn't come off. The Secretary isn't saying anything. And there's a whole barrage of conflicting information in this space. And we have you, all the stakeholders, now caught in the middle of it. My question to you is, as a stakeholder, in terms of this whole concept of the Tobago Carnival, what is the product then that is being promoted, that has been packaged and is being promoted? Because we know that we're seeing people all over the place making all kind of trips, going to different places, and under the guise of we promoting the Tobago Carnival. But how can we be promoting, and I'm guessing here because I might be wrong, how can we be promoting a product that we have not yet defined? Because clearly we've not defined what the Tobago Carnival as a product is. We see the element of Kiddies Carnival non-existent, no competition, no grant funding for it, no appearance fee. You have to help us out here. Try to package for me what is the Tobago product so that we can understand what it is we're marketing.
I think they're saying a Tobago product. What is a Tobago product? Heritage? Mud? Because they're pushing mud down our throat. I'm not a mud person, but I will support it. So I was amazed when I hear we're going to Grenada to promote Tobago Carnival, and you have not do no launch here in Tobago. So what are you promoting? Nobody never contacted me, who's the stakeholder band leader. We are going to Grenada, and my concept or what I think
Should be
it
packaged
should
and
have
promoted.
been. We were invited to Grenada. Can you give us a TikTok or something, some information? So when we get out there,
At least on social media.
and we can showcase what it is that you have to offer. And anybody's interested in playing with your band will contact you. Nothing
No
like
conversation like that.
No conversation. Just, and mind you, I am glad that this band get the forward, right? Because they are a new band. They are not like my band.
Which
where
band is that?
For Zeno, right? They are or Aqua, some band from Speyside, right? And they are out there promoting, but you said they are promoting on behalf of me. How could they be promoting half of me and I did not get that information that I could have said, well, okay, I don't mind that they talk on behalf of me, because mind you, they are part of my organization too. They were in the meeting.
They were in the meeting.
So they know what taking place.
So they were
know.
singled out. Their
So it
engagement
had to
didn't
be.
take place in the forum.
No, because why? They are promoting their band is based on Speyside. Right? So their band is based on Speyside. I don't have a problem with that. I am glad. But what about there's Jessie Taylor's daughter, Shanaria. I watch her her launch. What about her? Why wasn't she given a
she was
little
left out.
forward? She was what? She's an upcoming band leader. Right? There are other new band leaders who are coming out of this thing. They should have been a part of it.
No, and I want for our viewers, as we wind down this show this evening, I want our viewers to be crystal clear on this. We think that it's a brilliant idea to market the Tobago Carnival, whether it is in Grenada, Barbados, St. Vincent, Antigua, and so on, because regional tourism is something that from ever since we've been trying to push and promote. So it's a brilliant idea to market the Tobago Carnival. But the question is, what is the Tobago Carnival? What is the Tobago product? And if our own local stakeholders are not engaged in the process of defining what that product should be before it is showcased to any other eyes, and we saying Grenada, but even right in Trinidad, persons are still to date asking the questions, well, what is going to take place?
Exactly
And so before we showcase that to anybody else, I think that
it should have been launched here. Let me tell you something. We had the opportunity that we were having the heritage. Whilst the heritage was taking place, Tobago Carnival should have been, you should have been seeing billboards, flyer ads here, going here and there. So
Brilliant idea.
after you know that you have the heritage, you know you will have World Food Day, and then after World Food Day you have the Blue Food, and after the Blue Food you know it's October.
Build the momentum into.
Exactly. So people of themselves would be saying, aha.
But didn't you
Tobago
say
is
this
the
in the April
place.
meeting?
To tell you the honest truth, I didn't. The honest thing I said, I could tell you the honest truth. The honest thing I said in that April meeting, when it was said to us that Tobago would not have been having a national carnival, and I put up my hand, and when I was given the chance to speak, I said that could not happen.
That's what, national as in next year?
Next year.
February.
I said that cannot happen.
So the intention was to cancel that?
Cancel Tobago Carnival. And I said that could never happen. Mr. Antoine and them were there. They wait until I finish speak. And I said, October Carnival is just a little taste to end the carnival, then to begin Trinidad
for
and
the
Tobago.
national
It's
carnival.
a Trinidad and Tobago thing, and in order for that not to happen, you have to go back to Parliament
And change the law.
and change the law. I said, but I think I'll put in the cart before
So
the
they were
horse.
talking about cancelling next year.
Cancelling next
when
year.
October not yet
Net
packaged.
October, not yet packaged. You don't know how it. And then we in this Callaloo where we here. You know, Peter Minshall did bring a mask named Callaloo. So I think this is what happening here. All we missing is the crab. Right?
Thank you very much, Mrs. Ned.
This is the outcome. And I am pleading to corporate sponsors, please give us,
Step in.
step in, help us out when we write and send the little letters. And even if it's 1,000 or 2,000, it goes a long way.
Well, what I will do is to piggyback on that plead and also say to the authorities, whether the secretary, the assistant secretary, even the chief secretary, to please come out and say something, to engage our stakeholders. We have a number of stakeholders who possess a wealth of talent, and we have the opportunity to even collaborate with those who have the blueprint, those who may have been doing this a while, to obviously improve the offering of the Tobago product. And so we're asking on the administration to come out and say something to our stakeholders, come out and give a report, come out and give some sort of direction to make an announcement so that our stakeholders are no longer going to be in the dark. People like Mrs. Ned, and we have a number of other voices that would have spoken today, the Calypsonians. I mean, we haven't even touched on that tonight, but the
Because
Calypso
I
fraternity.
was not going to say, picture this. Pan, you have bands like Phase 2 Pan Groove. You have all these big bands would have come to Tobago and give you a grant. You would have just have Pan people who just come to listen to
Pan
Pan
enthusiasts.
alone.
Yes.
And then you would have the
That would have drawn a
Calypsonians.
separate crowd.
Then you would have the Calypso fraternity inviting all like Karine Ashe and all of them here to have a grand something.
Wow,
George, all of them would have a grand. We even have show in Winchester. We should have show in Winchester as our ambassador, showcasing Tobago Mass.
Wow. Mrs. Ned, I don't know how to say thank you, because the information that you passed on this evening, and not just in terms of current, but the institutional knowledge, is priceless. And I hope that the powers that be are able to harness this type of information, this legacy
And
of
hope
the
they don't
mass,
play
and
politics
use it.
with it.
Well, of course.
We
And
need to
use it
leave
to
out
be
the
able to
politics.
improve
Yes.
what is taking place. Viewers, you've been listening to the Minority Report. My guest in studio this evening was Mrs. Marcelin Edwards Ned of Marcelin Ned and Associates. And I mean, a really, really interesting discussion. I want to thank you for being with us this evening.
Thank you
We've
for
been
having
able
me.
to see and understand a lot, even a bird's eye view of what is taking place, and then from in the belly and the heart of it. So this evening, as we wind up, we want to thank our viewers for staying tuned with us, for logging on. And we want to say, for some of the comments, I have not been able to answer some of the questions because the discussion was so intense. But we're going to be back next week, Tuesday, again, doing what we have been mandated to do as the Minority Council in terms of reporting, advocating, creating greater awareness, educating the public, and bringing issues to the forefront. I am Marilyn David. Thank you for being with us, and thank you for viewing. Have a good evening. Good night.